the first step, as many of you know, and I think the word has been, I'm sure everybody has heard this, which is the blueprint, is the first step. The blueprint does three things. The first thing that the blueprint does, which is actually the most important thing to begin the journey, is that it helps you discover what your innate qualities actually are. So that's actually the primary, and that's the part of the blueprint that once it's done, it's like forever. Because once you've discovered your innate qualities, they don't change. They don't move around with anything. They're yours, and you've discovered them. And now you know that these are my innate qualities. So that's one thing. Discover. The discover element of the blueprint is you discover your innate qualities, or rather, actually, you rediscover, because you did know them at some point in your life and you gradually forgot them. And so you kind of rediscover them at this point. So that's the first thing. Once you know that, then the attention of the blueprint shifts to how you live life today. And then the blueprint says, what the blueprint tries to answer a singular question in the second part is saying, the way you live life today and the way your life has played out today, as is today, which of those innate qualities are not able to flourish in the way your life is lived today? That's what it's trying to find out. Because when you know which of your innate qualities are not able to flourish in the way you are living life now, you will then know what is it that I need to change so that those aspects, those parts of my innate qualities that are not flourishing can flourish again. And that is what we mean by intentionally aligning your existing life, your lived life, to your innate qualities. So that's the second part, identifying those innate qualities that are not flourishing at this point in the way your life is playing out today. So it's temporal. It's at a point in time, and that's important to understand. And that diagnosis is of dormant qualities. The dormant qualities are those innate qualities that are not flourishing at this point in time. So that's the second component. The first was discover, and in which we discovered our innate qualities. Second is diagnose, and the diagnosis is at this point in time, which of these innate qualities are not flourishing. And the third dimension of the blueprint is recommendation, the most important one, which really says, if you now want to flourish these dormant qualities, which parts of your life should you intentionally address so that you can now flourish those innate qualities? Those are called elements, right? So you know that if those of you have done your blueprint know that those will be usually 2 or 3, or sometimes 3 or 4 elements. And I will not get into a lot of details because it doesn't help, but there is a framework we use, which is called the 5x5 framework. So basically, there are 25 elements through which we look at how lived life is today for everybody. So, and from there, we will pick the 3 most important or relevant elements for you at this point in time in order to flourish the dormant qualities that you have. So it's a very precise recommendation. A recommendation which says, out of a possible universe of 25 dimensions of life that we could intentionally address, we don't want you to go running around trying to address all of them, because that means that nothing will get done. Let's identify the 2, 3, or 4 that really matter. And let's hone in on those and intentionally start addressing those so that now we are aligning ourselves and our dormant qualities are starting to flourish. This combination of those 3 or 4 elements that we suggest and recommend for you to intentionally address is known as the focus area. It's a visual idea, a focus area, just the 3 or 4 elements forming together the intentional area of your total life, within your total life, that you're going to actually focus on and address. That is the focus area. So these are the 3 things that we help you with in the blueprint. Discover what your innate qualities are, diagnose what your dormant qualities are. Dormant qualities are not qualities that you have less of or more of or none of that. It's the same as all the others. But dormant qualities are the qualities where the way you live life now does not allow those qualities to flourish as much as the other qualities. That is the point. They're not getting their space in the sun quite as much as the other innate qualities. And that's entirely because of the way your life is playing out today and the way it is structured now. And the third dimension is recommendation, which is really saying what are the 3 or 4 elements out of 25 potential elements or dimensions through which we look at life that you can intentionally address so that these dormant qualities can flourish again at this point in time. So the first part of the identification is a forever thing. Once you have it, it's done. You've got it, you know it, it's forever. The second part is a temporal one. It's based on time at this point in time. And after some time, as the circumstances of your life change, and as you do your own work of reshaping your life to allow these dormant qualities to flourish again, you will have the opportunity to go back and look at it again and say, okay, now that some time has passed, what is the reality now? And so you, at various points in time, you refresh your understanding of the situation. And you might find that, okay, now some of those dormant qualities are not dormant anymore. But you know what? There's another quality which was not dormant earlier, but circumstances are changing. I'm traveling a lot now. I've moved to a new country, whatever, right? Lots of circumstances change in our lives. And because the circumstances are changing, I need to now, this next period, I need to focus on these innate qualities and not maybe the ones that I focused on earlier. And that is the temporal nature of what we will take you through